Hi, Misha here, and this is my third kind of Corona gun panic video. Put out the first one, about a week ago. Put out an update this past weekend, and I thought I would do a follow-up. As I said on Sunday, I was nearly out of shotguns. Specifically pumps, although that's mostly what I had to begin with, but even then that's mostly what people have been buying. And of those, there's more demand on Mossberg than Remington. Remingtons are selling, but Mossbergs are selling a little more. And I'm basically out now. There are a few guns here that have been paid for, but I'm still awaiting an FFL to ship to, so if I discount those as virtually gone, what I have left, I have one 870 DM, which is the mag-fed 870 with the wood stock. I have one 870 DM TAC 14, which is the short 14-inch barrel version with Magpul forearm. I have I'm not 100% sure because there's been a lot of sales and a lot of people haven't sent FFLs yet, but I think there's one Mossberg 590A1 ghost ring sight model left. There's also a Remington 870 Police 20-inch with rifle sights and 8-shot. One of those left. I think that might be the only police magnum I have left. In the tacticals, 870 tacticals, I have one pistol grip stock threaded barrel left. And I have, in the Mossberg mag-fed rifles, or shotguns rather, long guns, I have one of the basic 590Ms, the standard model with bead sight, and I have one, maybe two, 590M deluxe models with the ghost ring and heat shield. Now that might sound like several, that's about half a dozen, but before all this started, I had hundreds of shotguns, and that's what's left. It's been just decimated, more than decimated if you're going to be literal about it. And so that's it. Those part numbers will be closed out pretty much once those last handful sell. And then the only shotguns I'll have left will be a few of the used 870s that are from that Illinois Highway Patrol or State Police, whatever, buy that I had. And even those have been selling pretty quickly. I've moved to maybe half a dozen of those this week. And the only reason those used guns probably haven't sold faster, with the new guns, I can just hit relist, using stock photographs. Typically, we have 4 to 8 photos as stock representative for brand new guns, because obviously a new gun will look the same as any other new gun with the exception of the serial number changing. But with a used gun, we always take pictures of that specific gun so people know exactly what they're getting. And with the 870s, we started off taking around 12 and then reduced it to 10 and then to 8, really because there's really no need for extra effort if that's enough for people to purchase. And, it's not a whole lot to be seen. Just a couple of pictures of each side, a couple of the markings, top, bottom. People like to see the feed port to see how much wear is there. That's about it. So, really, the reason that hasn't gone faster is just because there's a little more effort. I did have a used Sega 12 come in. It sold in a day. I had another Jerry Mikulik JM Pro 930, and it sold immediately. And, I'm recording this at about 2 a.m., so it's an improvement over the last videos, which were about 3 or 3:30. No birds out. We had a pretty hot day today. It was around 80 some odd degrees, but it's pleasant out here now. So I think today was a lot quieter. Only had a handful of sales. I think people were buying up there yesterday because they had hopes of getting the gun there before the weekend. But now, even the most optimistic, demanding customer can't really expect to buy something Thursday night and have it there by Saturday. Will there be some this weekend? Probably. Typically, Saturdays are good sales days, especially with people being kind of trapped at home right now. But also keep in mind, a lot of FFL dealers in various states are now closing, either voluntarily or by mandate. Now, some states have declared FFL dealers as essential. I think Illinois is one. And other FFLs are actually also hardware stores. Quite a few hardware stores have licenses, so they will stay open. So it just depends. And even failing that, some dealers are closed but are letting people come pick up their transfers by appointment, which is fine because it's one thing to ask for stores to close or say no group gatherings over 50 people. But we're not to the point yet where the government can mandate legally that two private citizens can't meet up. There's really... If we get to that point where two people can't just meet, we've got bigger problems than a upper respiratory virus. Real big problems. That said, I do agree with a lot of the quarantine measures, but I like it when it's done voluntarily by people. And I like it the most if government asks businesses to close, not demands. That seems more in keeping with how it should be. But, people should have enough sense to kind of do their bit to not spread this. Thought I'd share a few stories before ending the video. Hasn't been a lot of interesting stories this week. Most of the customers have been paying immediately with credit card and then asking us to ship as quick as possible. And really, we've only been a day or two behind this week, which is a little better than last week. Last week, we were about 3 to 4 days behind in shipping. But we did a really big batch Tuesday, and that mostly got us up to date. I think we shipped about 27 guns. Yeah, 27 guns Tuesday, and that helped us really catch up after shipping some on Monday. Wednesday, we shipped another batch of about 15. Thursday, we didn't ship. And then today, Friday, we're shipping 11, which normally is considered a pretty good load. I mean, typically, under normal times, Mondays and Fridays, we end up shipping anywhere from 10 to 15 guns just normally. And then Wednesday is almost always the smallest day of about 4 to 8, kind of that midweek, just catch up. So that kind of gives you an idea. But a couple of stories. Yesterday, Thursday, I nearly was given a heart attack. This is what happened. Customer calls me, and I didn't really sleep Wednesday night, Thursday night. Just couldn't get to sleep. Had a lot going on and trying to get stuff done. Anyway, so I was already kind of in that zone. And when I haven't slept, I'm not particularly grouchy, but I tend to get very pessimistic or agitated or nervous, if you know what I mean. So already feeling this way, half sleeping, trying to do something just to keep myself awake. Customer calls about 1:30 in the afternoon, saying he was there to pick up his gun, and I sent the wrong gun. And immediately I said, look, we've been shipping a whole lot, and I've been doing my absolute best to double check everything, but mistakes during these times will happen. So if I made a mistake, I'm only human. I apologize. Don't worry. We'll fix it. We'll fix it. Not the end of the world. So I asked him, okay, what did you order? He ordered one of the the Remington 870 Police Magnum guns with the 20-inch barrel wood stock, 7+1 tube. Okay, what'd you get? Got a Remington 870 TAC 14, which is a tactical, which is a variant of the Express. And the 14 would be the 14-inch barrel firearm, not a shotgun, with the Mesa stabilizing brace. I'm like, okay, that's a very different gun. Still an 870, but nothing else is the same. Different product lines, different part numbers. One's technically a shotgun, one's technically a firearm or other. And most importantly for me, looking not really an option, feeling things, their boxes are very different. The Police Magnum he ordered would have come in a box about 48 inches by 8 inches by 4. And the TAC 14 with the Mesa brace would be more like 36 inches by 16 inches. It's a really wide box by 6. So it's a shorter, much fatter, wider box. So right there, I'm like, how could I have mixed those up? So I said, hey, can you read me the serial number of the gun you received? And he read it off to me. The police guns have serials that start with CC. They used to be RS, but a few years ago, when they ran out of RS numbers, they went to CC, okay? The TAC 14s, because they're considered firearms, have a serial number that starts with RF, standing for Remington Firearm. So totally different serial prefix, everything. He reads me this number, RF, blah, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. I look at my bound book, and bing, no results found. Okay, I'm a little puzzled now. Before I thought it shipped in the wrong gun, but now this serial number he's claiming he's got isn't showing up on my book. So now I'm really panicking because was there a typo? We forgot what's going on? I don't know. It's very confusing. So I asked him, could I please talk with your dealer? And I get him on the phone. I said, hey, what is the packing slip? What's the invoice say? And the invoice did say Remington 870 Police Magnum, yada yada. So the invoice was right, had his name, had his number. What the deuce is going on? And I asked the guy to repeat the serial number. It still was binging on my end, and I said, look, let me go look at my book from where we logged it out to you. And sure enough, the gun that my computer was saying was logged out to him was a CC serial number, CC 76 something, which, looking at the book, was supposed to be an 870. And I'm trying to be polite about this. I told the dealer, is there any potential way maybe that's not the gun from us? So he says, well, let me go check. And then he comes back about 5 minutes later, and sure enough, he had pulled the wrong gun out of the back, and the customer's gun was actually back there and was the correct Police Magnum. So, in a nutshell, absolutely nothing we did was wrong. And, nothing, and the customer and dealer behaved properly. The customer called me as soon as he thought there was a problem. The dealer was helpful and friendly. So all parties were good. The dealer, gave the guy his gun. All's well in the world. The problem is if you do mix up two guns, if that had happened, if we'd shipped the wrong gun, that means there would actually been two guns shipped wrong. Because if he received, say, that gun, someone else would have received his gun and not their gun. So we would have had to have paid shipping for both of the missing guns back to us. We've had to have corrected our books, which is a pain, and the ATF doesn't like it. And then we'd have to ship both guns back out to the right places. So 4 additional shipping fees plus 30 minutes of fixing the books. You're looking at a minimum of $150 in time. You can understand why that's a really bad thing to have guns mixed up like that. And obviously, legally, it's not good. I mean, the ATF isn't crazy. They understand humans make mistakes. But, yeah, I'm just waiting for the next call, and I probably won't get lucky the next time, because as all those guns from Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday get there, they are, I'm sure there'll be something wrong. I don't know what. Another few things, we have oversold a couple of times this past craziness. I really hate doing it, and I've done my absolute best to have inventory control. But at the end of the day, as quickly as things are selling with all these different people, and I've had a handful of customers who bought a gun and then decided they didn't want it. Okay, great, I relist it, and then they decide they want it. So by that point, I can't unrelist it because someone else has already bought it. Other times, it's just honest mistake. For example, I oversold on Mossberg 590 A1 bead sight shotguns. So I asked the guy, I said, look, I do have 590 A1 ghost rings. Typically they sell for $20-$30 more. Do you want one of those instead of a bead sight? That happened actually with two people, and because I had one bead sight left and two customers. So I gave the first guy who paid the option. He said, no, I'd really prefer the bead sight. Okay, great, you paid first, your pick. So I'm hoping the second guy is cool with the ghost ring. So I call him up, tell him what happened. Not only was he cool with the ghost ring, he thanked me for it and offered to pay more money. And I told him, I said, look, from a business point of view, I probably should. You are getting a better gun. And he kind of paid pre-panic prices too. But I said, no, it was a mistake on our end. So, no, you get a free upgrade, basically. So that went well. Another gun we sold out of was the 590A1 Mariner Marine Coat gun, and oversold that by 2, and I'll explain why. The first guy I called and I said, look, I oversold, here's the scoop, I'm blind. I thought these guns over here had the nickel coat, the Marine coat, and they didn't. They had the Parkerized finish. So I can either ship you one of those or refund your money. And I said, if you want one of these, the Parkerized are usually cheaper, so obviously I'll cut you a check for the difference. And he was cool with that. In fact, he lived in Arizona, so he really only bought the Marine coat because it's what he found, it's what was available. So it really sounds like, in a way, that was a better fit for him. The second person was a woman who runs a gun shop as well. And she's the only refund I've had to issue, because I told her, I said, look, I'm out of Marine coats. I explained the situation. I gave her 2 or 3 other guns, including the same gun but Parkerized. Or I said, if I've got 590 A1s, with 20-inch barrel. And she said, no, it really has to be the Marine coat. Understood. Some people want what they want. I told her, look, this particular part number has been discontinued. I've called all the distributors. No one's got them. I don't think I'll get them again. So obviously I immediately just issued her a refund. And to date, throughout the panic, this is the only time I've had to do this. Everyone else I've offered upgrades or different options to, like I just told you, and they worked out fine. And from what customers have told me, that's happening a lot with online sites. A lot of people have put in orders at, Cabela's or Academy, what have you, online, only to get a notice a couple of days later saying that order has been canceled and their card refunded because they're just out of stock. The industry went from a pretty slow post-holidays bent to just being slammed, and being slammed with pump shotguns, which again were pretty slow already. Especially Mossbergs. I had better sales of Remingtons back around Christmas. Mossbergs were dead, which is why I had so many to begin with right now. So a lot of this just came out of nowhere and took people's unaware. And, online inventory is great, but it usually takes the system a few hours or whatnot to update. And then if you're selling on multiple platforms, say Gunbroker, your own website, and then in your local face-to-face store, maybe you only have 1 or 2 guns left. Sometimes it's hard to pull all the listings before someone else buys. And in this frenzy, sometimes I'd post a gun and then go to the kitchen and get a drink of water and come back and it was already sold on Gunbroker. So it's unfortunate, but it happens. Funny story about that. I had that JM Pro, the 930. Sold it a couple of weeks ago, right at the beginning of this panic, and then a friend has a local store. Well, I won't mention the name just for privacy, but anyway, he had a JM Pro there that just been sitting there. Even though I've had him run on shotguns and most other vendors are reporting it, he hasn't. He's had a run on shotgun ammo, but namely pistols, 9mm specifically. Anyway, so I said, hey, if you don't, whatever, you bring that JM Pro, I'll buy it off of you and sell it. And he was thrilled to do that. So I get it from him on Tuesday. I post the listing on Gunbroker, just repost because it was the same 24-inch model I'd had before. And then on Thursday, someone hits buy now on it. Awesome. They pay. And then I look at their location, Arkansas. No, I said Thursday. I apologize. It was Wednesday because today's Thursday, Friday. I'm tired. Anyway, the person who bought it was from Arkansas. Not only Arkansas, was from basically our town. So I call him up and explain, hey, I don't do face-to-face transfers. If you like, I can send it to this guy's shop, blah, 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 and you can just pick it up there. And so, yeah, he was fine with that, and we got to talking. And, yeah, he said he had placed his order for a 930 JM Pro on Cabela's website and then got that out of stock notice, and he'd gone to a lot of the local stores and they didn't have them, and he checked and all of a sudden mine popped up and he immediately bought it. So the only one he could find. The funny thing is, if he just visited my friend's store, he would have found it there, but he just only visited the big box stores who didn't have any. Kind of funny. To be fair, he said he hadn't bought a gun in 7 years, but he's not a novice. He does have his carry license, so he's a real pleasant guy. We had a nice chat, and he saw the YouTube channel. In fact, he said he was watching one of our videos over on Mishaco about the gun when he found mine on Gunbroker and didn't even realize it was me selling it, much less someone from Arkansas. So I told him, okay, cool. I'll get that gun over. My friend will do the paperwork at his store. You can come pick it up anytime, Friday or Saturday. I told him, look, my friend will be closing his store voluntarily for 2 weeks because of the current situation. And so you need to pick it up by Saturday. Or I said, worst case, if you just can't make it, you have a flat, your name's on it, it's not going anywhere, you can pick it up in 2 weeks. Or we can send it to another dealer if you want. But he said, so I called my friend after we got off the phone and said, well, you're getting the gun back. And he probably thought I meant something was broken about it. And I just told him the story, and he laughed. So yeah, this is kind of a funny turn of fate, but it also goes to show you what sells online and what sells local in stores can sometimes be very different. He's the same person I got that Sega 12 off of. He said it had been sitting in his store for a couple of years. No takers. I put it online and it's gone in a few hours, frankly, maybe a day. So it's been an entertaining week. I've been very tired. Today I feel better. I got some sleep last night, which felt good. Went to bed early. Got maybe 8 hours, more than I've had in a long time. I will say what's made the last 2 weeks a lot easier. People, both other dealers and customers, have been almost universally, categorically nice. They've been understanding. They've been patient. They've been polite. Even when they need a gun there because of a impending quarantine or lockdown, they haven't been demanding, like, you got to get it here. They say, can you please get it here? And when things haven't happened on time, they've been understanding, and most of them have wished me to just stay safe, and same to them. And, a lot of people like to say when these things happen, you see the worst in humanity. I think you can do that if that's what you want to see, but you can also see the best in humanity, especially if that's what you want to see out of people. And I just find if you're patient with people and if you're polite, usually you get that in turn. Now, sometimes when people have called me, I've been extremely busy and have not been able to talk with them, but I still try to be chipper and polite, even though I say, look, I'm sorry, I really have to go. Usually make a joke and then, get off the phone, but try to keep things light, even if it's busy. But between mostly having my stock gone and I think just the panic buying ending, I might be able to have a rest for a couple of weeks after maybe like next Monday. Get the final guns out on Monday, and then just without having inventory here, just relax for a bit and chill out. It's my hopes anyway. Obviously, with quarantines and stuff, I won't be able to do a whole lot. There's not a lot to buy out there and shipping. With moving so much inventory, I am concerned about restocking what to buy next, but hoping maybe there'll be some collections to buy, old bolt-action guns and things. I always enjoy buying those, and, if I can find a collection of 30 or 40, 50 guns, that'll be good. Restock with those, and that's really what I like selling. Again, the only reason I had so many shotguns was because of Lou Horton and then their closing last year, but yeah, that's what's kind of going on in my world and the world of guns. A lot of pump shotguns and a lot of people buying, but yep, that's a thing. Well, how have you people spent the home time? I don't know how many of you are home now, but more and more people across the U.S., so I guess we'll see. Where I live now, there's been some cases reported in kind of critical areas like factories and schools and things. So it could start to spread here pretty quickly. So definitely a good time just to be a hermit. Why not? I do have sympathy for people who live in larger cities and are in apartments, because while I don't have a huge house or anything, it's at least a house with a yard, so I can get out and at least walk around my yard or go from one room to another. But if you're trapped in a small, 700 square foot apartment, oof. I guess that's why booze exists. If you can even get booze right now. I'm not sure. Liquor stores here have been closed except for some drive-through ones, but yeah, most places are either closed here or just drive-through pickup at the door only. Most lobbies and all restaurants, dining areas are closed. So we'll see. We'll see where we're at in a week or so. Hopefully, with business finally slowing down, I'll be able to get to some more airplane and ship videos. I'd like to do that. The little time I've had, I've just been too tired. But yeah. That's what I've been up to. What have you been up to? Found any new hobbies or interests, or been binge watching TV shows? Alrighty, with that said, I'll let you go. Appreciate you tuning in, listening to me ramble. If you could, like, share, and subscribe, and also go check out our main channel, Mishaco, because we've been trying to put up videos to help people pass a little time over there as well. With that, this is Misha, and I'll catch you very soon next time.